The first boss fight against Bowser is of course scripted for you to lose it. So before you ask, I don't count this. Junior Troopa, however, is a boss fight that is in the prologue, so I do think this counts towards the total score. So Red and Blue Goomba, let's chat. Since Paper Mario 64 really only focuses on badges for Mario, that means we have available to us the entire array of Mario badges both for its jump and his hammer. And one of those badges, which we get as our very first badge, happens to be Power Jump. Despite having only 10 HP, we have just enough FP to KO the Blue Goomba and then the Red Goomba in that order. Not much later, we face off with the Goomba King as well. I decided to fight him fair and honorable, until he decided to cheat and use the Goomba tree against me. It was in that moment I realized that chivalry was dead, so I decided to play dirty back at him. Consider yourself bopped. To end the prologue, we fight the Magic Koopa just after getting action commands. This fight ended in a flash, 2 power jumps and it's dead. And now with 4 points under his belt, we proceed to the very first chapter. Chapter 1, as you'd expect, is very straightforward. And Mario has just about no issues with any of the regular enemies to fight here too. It stands to reason that as long as you can breathe, fuzzies are possible to beat. Mario's jumping ability, as well as just being able to flip over Koopa Troopas that are either in the air or on the ground, lend very well to the required fights in the fortress itself, whether or not there are bob-ombs inside. The only obstacle left before the Koopa Bros themselves are the Bill Blasters, which Mario can deal with one apiece using both his power jump and his basic hammer attack. Despite the bullet bills that spawn in this fight, they can only be spawned once every other turn. It's also a rather handy way to grind star points. And at the end of it all is Trojan Bowser. Mario's hammer works just fine, but I used power jump a few times to speed the battle up. I don't really need FP for the Koopa Bros, in fact, it wouldn't really help in the fight anyway. Once confronted by the Koopa Bros, however, this is where Mario's biggest advantage comes into effect. Unlike Mario's partners, in Paper Mario 64, Mario is the only character you can control that can use items in battle. So after the Koopa Bros do their attack, Mario can just use a Thunderbolt, topple the stack down immediately, and then proceed to use a Power Block and a Fire Flower to finish them off. We learned in Watt's video that basically any attack that's electrical in nature can topple the stack down immediately. It's not just Bob-omb's explosions that can do it, and this served to aid Mario very well in this fight. About the last fight of note is Junior Troopa. He brags about having defense and how it makes Mario's attacks useless against him now, and like, I don't know what universe he's been existing in. I mean, our last fight wasn't exactly a very balanced one at all. At least, that's how I remember it. And this fight ain't much different. You use 5 power jumps and he loses. This kid just got schooled. Alongside Chapter 1 having Smash Charge, we also get an attractive badge in Quick Hammer on Mount Rugged, which I put to very good use in the dry rooms with the many fights required to fight in there. The funny thing about Pokemummies and Swoops is that they both have only 4 HP max, and so when boosted by using your Smash Charge, your Quick Hammer ends up doing 4 damage to all enemies. And after playing through this game with only Luigi and using basically his Power Quake level Quick Hammer, let me tell you, it is satisfying. It works equally fine for the Stone Chomps as well, though using your hammer or power jump works just fine. And needless to say, tilting Koopa was not very hard either. Having both Smash Charge and Quick Hammer worked really well here. If ever I have a free turn, it doesn't really hurt to use Smash Charge, and in case the Chomp gets summoned, Quick Hammer will OKO it and do 4 damage to Tilting Koopa too. That alone cuts down substantially on how much damage Mario takes throughout the battle. And good thing too, because my guards were not necessarily perfect. Also, is it just me, or is Tilting Koopa's theme just a real bop? I love this song, man. By now in life, it's been about a month and a half since I last played through this challenge. So without thinking, I fought Buzzar. Power jump, refresh, experiment with using Lullaby. Let's be real, even with only Mario, as honest as he is, it's not hard. Neither is Blooper. Another fight I got by on just using refresh and power jump. Nothing else particularly notable, unfortunately. Regarding Chapter 3, I can't buy a bunch of life shrooms and completely negate any challenge this challenge would have, but I won't. If I find life shrooms, I'll use them, but otherwise, I'd rather actually challenge myself and give you a reason to watch the video. So naturally, the fight with Junior Troopa may actually be interesting now. With my super boots, my power jump becomes a little bit stronger, doing 5 damage total to match his 5 attack power on me. But since my max HP is really high, and I don't want to use up my life shroom now, this is where I started using some items more than I normally do. And thank God for Double Dip. Elixir Blooper also exists, so let's fight him now too. And something to note is that I don't have Zap Tap on me, so you may be wondering, how in the heck am I gonna deal with the fact that sometimes it makes itself electrified? Well, that's simple. Jump on it. Yeah, I take a little more damage because of the electrified status, but it also knows that status immediately. And it's overall a lot better as an alternative to losing a whole turn to recoil damage. Not a hard boss in any case. Now for the heart of Tubba Blubba. And guess what? Because my guarding is bad, I end up losing my life stream in this fight. Yeah, I'm so used to using out of sight against this tart's charge attack that I don't know how to guard it properly. And the tackle just feels like it comes out way too late for my liking, which is a real shame because this boss has very predictable AI and getting the parry would be very easy if I knew what to do. Maybe if I brought a Shroom Fry, things would have ended very differently. Regardless, I'm in danger, I have power bounce, and this is basically it for Tubba Blubba. And that's it for Chapter 3. Chapter 4 has 2 bosses that I care about at least. I don't care about Anti-Guy at all. Big Lantern Ghost and General Guy. For the former, Mario's jump hits 2 times, so the lantern is already bright enough to hit him. Barring that, because I'm using Mario, I don't want the guard with my partner this time around. Only Mario wants to take this guard instead. I tried using Sleep Stomp, but it wasn't working here, though Dizzy Dial seemed pretty reliable. Beyond that, we knew our options, we were in no real danger, and we won this fight first attempt. And now for the latter boss, General Guy. Shy Squad, meet Defend Plus. As for the Shy Stack, severely nerfing their potential damage output. This gave me the idea to use Smash Charge for later. From there, it was a lot of jumps, a lot of guards, and then we got the General Guy himself. And since I was in danger, my Quake Hammer was able to break both the light bulb and do 10 damage to General Guy's tank. The fight then became just me healing when necessary, and otherwise getting my damage in while guarding the bombs as much as I could. And that's the end of Chapter 4. And before Chapter 5, we have to fight Fuzzipede, which again, I struggle to guard against. In response, I threw everything but the kitchen sink at this thing. And sure enough, one of those objects did KO it. So now we have entry into Chapter 5, though not before picking up Zap Tap. And I guess HP plus 2. And yet, I forgot to pick up Last Stand. Well, that'll suck for Lava Piranha. Now, there's a decent few fights in Jade Jungle, but nothing too much for Mario. The ambushes just took a single Starstorm, and then they would kamikaze into me when I have Zap Tap equipped. With the Future Piranhas and the White Magic Koopa, I tried to use Sleep Stomp, but it didn't really work. I could have used Smash Charge and Quake Hammer, but let's be honest, that'd be kinda boring. Regardless, it took only 1 turn for the White Magic Koopa to not heal itself, and then Starstorm would KO it. And not long after, the Future Piranhas would follow. And before too long, we discover Lava Piranha. Now, I don't have any of this thing's weaknesses. No Snowman Dolls, no Ice Power, not even Last Stand. What I do have, however, is Power Bounce, Power Rush, and Fire Shield. No doubt about it, I could have been better prepared, but what's the best preparation you could have? Experience. In Phase 1, the Lava Buds will not respawn once you knock them out just once, so 2 Power Quakes and they're gone for the rest of the first phase. I then took my time to knock out the Lava Piranha's main body, but also getting my star power back up because, well, when I entered the fight, I had almost no star energy left. And it turned out to be just enough to sustain myself for Phase 2. Lava Piranha's on fire, so normally it would not be safe to touch it, but Fire Shield protects you from fire contact damage. If Petite Piranhas are spawned, I use Starstorm, and I do have the star energy to use to move twice. The fight got pretty close, mostly because I had almost no healing items left. I think all I really had was a single Super Shroom and that was it. Down to the wire for sure, but without any life streams left at all, I managed to win this fight with only 2 HP left. Pretty awesome if you ask me. And though Chapter 5 was over with, there was still one more fight to handle, and that was Junior Troopa number 4. A boss with only 20 HP, I have Spike Shield, and I had Dizzy Stomp as well. He didn't even get to attack. Now, you could make the argument, a weak argument, that Kenshi Koopa was harder, and while technically true, Sleep Stomp kept him from being able to do much of anything of note. Sleepiness is super effective here. Not only that, but Kenshi Koopa also has a weak spot on his tail when flipped over. It was only a matter of time before this hunk just fell over belly up. And with that all cleared up, it's time for Chapter 6. After obliterating the Monty Moles that were harassing Petunia, and then realizing that we can't help any of the flower spirits in Flower Fields without consulting Petunia first, I finally grab Last Stand, and then do some brawling with Lakitus, though the brawling was just using Starstorm twice, which does 7 damage per use. Yeah, regular enemies from Mario really don't mean much of anything. Then came Michael, who was very simple. I guard, he can't hurt me, just keep jumping at him, they'll eventually go down. And what's left now? Huff and Puff? Bring it on. Periodically, you use Super Jump Charge and Power Bounce. And if ever too many Tough Huffs spawn, wipe them out with Starstorm. Chill Out was also useful here, but more on that skill later. When all was said and done, this cloud fell far from grace. 6 chapters down, and not once has Mario been stopped yet. But maybe an optional boss will be able to take him down. Let's try the Master. And when I say that, I mean the third fight with the Master. None of the 2 fights before that, or Chan and Lee. They both suck. This guy is a powerhouse, but having Last Stand kept us very strong. This actually was a fight where I was using HP Drain a lot. HP Drain reduces your attack power by 1. But for every individual hit landed against your enemy, you restore 1 HP. So if I hammer, I restore 1 HP. If I use my jump and I'm successful, I restore 2. Properly measuring the damage I dealt as well as the amount of damage I took allowed me to keep myself in danger permanently. And if ever my HP is high, like I'm at 5 HP out of 15, I'll use Chill Out instead. The fight itself went beautifully, and Mario, of course, received his diploma. And now, Chapter 7. Or well, I like to go to Chapter 7, but first, we have to fight Super Blooper. Yeah, in my partner-only series, ordinarily, you see Electro Blooper here, but since we already fought Electro Blooper, we are now required to fight Super Blooper instead. And while ordinarily she's no pushover, with Zap Tap she kinda is. Because being electrified shuts down the Blooper babies entirely. Meanwhile, Super Blooper's attacks, while they hit pretty hard, can be nerfed pretty hard by Chill Out. So this Star Spirit skill allows you to reduce the attack power of your enemies by 3 for 4 whole turns. 4 turns is a long time in Paper Mario. That's enough to cover basically 2 charge attacks and 1 basic attack from the Super Blooper herself. With that repeatedly being put into play, this was a fight that took a long time but was ultimately very much possible for us to win and without any real issues. How utterly beautiful. And now we're in Chapter 7. First target, Junior Troopa. All he can really do is match a Koopa Blast, which does hit pretty hard, but we have Smooch, so I don't really care. This baby got spanked. Then came Monstar, who of course has nothing to offer here at all. Let's be real here, even a Goomba could knock this thing out with the Fem Plus equipped to it. So what chance did it really have against Mario? A few fights existed in the Crystal Palace as well, but again, they were not really anything worth talking about. All 3 of these White Clover fights can be beaten either with repetition, patience, or brute force. Regarding the Duplicos, we'll talk about those later in Chapter 8. And this leaves the Crystal King, who, since I'm finally feeling fine, I'm not afraid of being frozen. This fight was primarily using D down jump, and if there were illusions, using either Shooting Stars, Thunder Rages, or of course, Starstorm. I tried using Super Jump Charge, but it really isn't very effective unless you're using Power Bounce. The fight was decently long, but it ended with Mario stomping the Crystal King into dust. A fitting end to Chapter 7. This leaves us with only 1 chapter left, but first and foremost, let's get ourselves Power Plus from this anti-guy. I could be nice and give him 11 candy, but let's be real here. This is just more fun to do. And now for Chapter 8. Regular enemies are easily dispatched either by using Quick Counter on the Koopa Trolls or just using items with Double Dip. It either way does not really matter at all. What does matter, however, is the anti-guy unit. Now, I could have went the route of using Triple Dip and just spamming items against all these fools, but I decided it'd be better to be honorable, at least relatively speaking. Though honor did cost me a few attempts here. Mostly because the Ram attack I'm bad at guarding, but also because of bad RNG. At first, I tried to brawl with them, but it didn't work. So what I instead did was rely on using HP Drain. And thanks to this, Last Stand, and of course Power Rush. Once we fell snugly into 5 HP, we started clowning on this trio. And who would have thought? I did not even need all my items. Trooper this fight, as well as the incoming fight with Junior Troopa number 6. Wasted no time here though. Super Jump Charge, Power Bounce, and goodbye. It's more convenient than just using your basic jump multiple times, and I'd rather not have to worry about healing in this fight either, which my partners did have to worry about in their respective partners only videos. Which, speaking of which, if you haven't watched them yet, I would simply adore if you check them out. But wait, I almost forgot. I never mentioned the Duplicos, so how did this fight go? Oh. But now, all that's really left is Hallway Bowser. And thanks to Mario's really high attack power and D down jump, he's doing 10 damage per turn. Though after Bowser uses the Star Rod, that damage is reduced to instead being about 4 damage per hammer attack. Which is still honestly pretty great. Though my limited number of life shrooms and the fact that Bowser can heal himself 1 time for 20 HP, well, let's just say it forced my hand. So to make up for lost damage, I had Mario use his Star Beam once. But only once, because I don't think Mario needs really that much help to win. And sure enough, Even though Bowser's attack power is really high and I don't have any Ultra Shrooms on me, our defenses were plenty enough to survive this fight. I could feel bad, but A, Star Beam is a move that only Mario can use, and B, Bowser has no business calling me a coward. Not when during our very first fight, he had the cheek to beat me. And speaking of which, if you're wondering why I never counted a fight with Bowser in the sky before the prologue, it's simply for that reason. It was before the prologue, and as a result, there was no category to count the points in either. But yeah, Bowser's been defeated, and that means the challenge must end here, right? After all, progressing to the true final battle means being able to use Star Beam and Peach Beam, which none of my partners can do. Oh wait, we're using Mario. Well now, that does change a thing or two now, doesn't it? So we're able to chase Bowser to the final arena, use a few D-down jumps, then use Star Beam when he becomes invincible, because of course none of my other attacks do anything here. And after an admittedly really cool cutscene where Princess Peach wishes for our success, we get the Peach Beam, allowing us to disable Bowser's Star Shield now that he has the Sauron fully powered up. And since we have to use the Peach Beam every time he powers himself up, he's actually a lot weaker this time around. Since I'm not using my partner, the Star Wave really is not scary at all to deal with. Just guard with Mario. Well, it doesn't matter if my partner gets injured, they're not fighting anyway. Barring that, for comparison's sake, you can see for yourself the damage really isn't going up any higher here either. Though to Bowser's credit, he's got a lot more HP. A lot that matters though when my attacks actually ignore his defense stat. And since I'm not healing myself, neither is he, because my HP is way too freaking high for him to even bother. A few D-down jumps later, and Bowser has been defeated, we reclaim the Star Rod, peace is restored to the world, and we can now move on to the final results for Mario after this entire challenge has finally been completed. So, how did Mario do? Well, quite frankly, it doesn't really matter, because as you already saw, Mario can beat every boss, every required enemy fight, every mini-boss, even Bowser. So naturally, he's also better than literally every one of his partners too, even Sushi. But to ease your worries, his total score is 36 points. I really do hope you enjoyed this whole series of partner-only videos as well as my Mario-only challenge. And likewise, thank you so much to both Splash A and Ricardo for your channel member pledges, because times nowadays are very difficult to deal with, and it really makes your pledges feel so much more impactful. And if you're still watching this video and you're not a channel member to my channel, well, the next best thing you can do to support my videos are just to watch them. You know, I have a full series of partner-only videos for Paper Mario with the 1,000-Year Door too if you want to check that out. And hey, if you do, leave a comment down below. I love to see who's actually watching my videos. It means a lot to me to just know my audience is really well interacting with my content. In any case, thanks for watching, have a happy new year.